I'm Katrin from exali. It's nice to have you here. Today I'm going to tell you about the top 5 infringements of rights and how to avoid them. Stay tuned. And while you're at it, click on the subscribe button below. It's completely free and we will inform you as soon as there is a new video from us. So what are the most common violations of rights? We've evaluated over 500 damage events at exali from around 8 years for this. I'll show the results for you here in the overview. And as a math genius, you should surely notice that there are only 4 categories listed here, not 5. But that is simply because we counted image rights violations, which are actually copyright infringements too, separately. There are in first place with around 80% copyright infringements. Why is that? Yes, almost all content can be copyrighted. This includes pictures, texts, videos, but also such abstract things like program code or terms and conditions. Even single movements or choreographies can be copyrighted. For example, the makers of the computer game Fortnite were sued because they used supposedly copyrighted dances in their game. As already mentioned, copyright infringement also includes image rights violations. This is particularly common. You may be familiar with this. Maybe you've looked on the internet for a picture, for a presentation, or for your own website. And if you don't pay close attention, you could be infringing a copyright. In this case, against a photographer. Even if the image is from a free image database, you can still go wrong if you are not careful. For example, if you don't know the author or name them incorrectly. That means even if you name the author, but in the wrong place, it could be a copyright infringement. Incidentally, it changes nothing if you, for example, change the image slightly, add a color or adjust sizes. The photographer's copyright still applies, and you can receive a warning. That also applies if, for example, the usage rights have expired, or if you use the image for a purpose other than for which it has been released. Now you surely want to know how to avoid such a copyright infringement, right? The first basic rule is always ask the rights holder's permission. No matter whether it is a picture, a video, a piece of music, text or anything else. Always get the permission first. Also pay attention to ensure that the licensing contract covers your purpose. That means if the photographer allows you to use her picture on your website, it doesn't immediately mean that you can also use the same picture on social media. That is why you have to record the purpose in the contract. And this is also very important. Always cite the author correctly and in the right place. The third place in infringement goes to free competition. Infringements in free competition account for around 17% of damage events at exali. On the one hand, this is because the obligations around competition law are so extensive that you can hardly adhere to all the specifications correctly. On the other hand, it's also due to the fact that every competitor or competition association can warn you if you violate under one of the duties of competition law. In simple words, that means any of your competitors that find errors in your terms and conditions, in your imprint or your cancellation policy, or discovers that one of your advertisements violates the information requirements, can cause problems for you. But how can you avoid this? It's best to do your research regularly about the current legal situation and all duties that you must adhere to. Check on all your pages and check regularly because the requirements and laws can change too. If you use text, only use legally secure texts. For this you can use templates from the internet or you can play it safe and hire a lawyer to write the text for you and to legally check them. Taking texts from other sites is also not a good idea, because that brings us back to copyright law. The fourth place goes to trademark infringements. Only a trademark owner is allowed to issue a warning on a trademark infringement. Among other things, this is the reason why trademark infringements are not so strongly represented in our statistics. If you want to protect your brand, you can register it at the European Union Office for Intellectual Property. Brand owners need to protect their trademarks so that they don't lose them. That is why large corporations issue warnings even for the smallest of violations, even if they are just made by the freelancer around the corner. To ensure you don't get such a warning, you should observe the following tips. Before you try to register a trademark, you should always do comprehensive trademark research first. Play it safe and get a specialized lawyer for this. You should only use a product seal if you hold the usage rights for it. And if you are an online retailer, make sure when shopping that it is really a branded product that you are buying and selling. In fifth and last place are violations of personal rights. Granted, you would surely like to advertise your coffee machine with George Clooney too. But if George Clooney doesn't know about it, it's a very bad idea. Because each of us has a right to our own image. That means, simply put, when you make the likeness of someone publicly available, even just a drawing or a caricature, without the consent of this person, then that is a violation of their personal rights. Incidentally, this also applies if you publicly insult the person or make false statements about them or place them in the wrong context. This is how you can avoid violating personal rights. First of all, you should never use pictures of celebrities. If you want to show a person, always get written permission beforehand. If you do an interview with someone, for example, on a sensitive subject, then you should always clarify the interview questions beforehand with the person concerned, and also the finished interview before it is released, so that the person can agree to it. In case you have your own website, you also have to make sure that no insults or offenses are posted in the comments. As soon as you notice them, you should delete the post immediately. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, just give it a thumbs up and subscribe here. Bye bye and see you next time.